All right, and we are here on the Owen Hart Tribute Radio Show, and I have on the line with us Clarence Mason. Clarence, you got the chance to work with Owen on various occasions, including a feud. What are your memories of working with him?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you all getting in contact with me. It's a pleasure to be on the show to help celebrate or commemorate the life of a very, very good man, and just to remember, go back on down memory lane about somebody as great as Owen was. Owen was an absolute phenomenal talent in and out of the ring, and was an absolute joy and pleasure to work with him.
Now, Owen was a major ribber. Did you ever get ribbed by him, or did you ever witness any ribs? If so, would you care to share?
Everybody got ribbed by Owen. Whether he was in the locker room and he let out a major gasser, and we just told her, man, if you lit a flame, man, the methane would probably blow up the entire locker room. He was just that kind of person. That wasn't pleasant, but that was just who he was. If it wasn't that, he had this here way of I remember one particular time he rigged this door, and he had a bucket above the door, and I don't know whether the person was intended who he got, but the victim of the water in the bucket above the door happened to be the Undertaker. That wasn't very, very pleasant. But interesting enough, that wasn't the worst of them all. I think it was one of those Slammies years ago. I knew we were in New York, and Owen was up, and Owen was supposed to announce the winner. And I was supposed to be the winner of this Slammy. Had my speech and everything ready to go. I was on cue, and Owen announced himself as the winner. Well, as he's going back to his table, this guy who's in the who's part of the staff there, who was serving the wrestlers and the guests and people who were there, he pushed this guy intentionally so that everything he had fell over. Well, it fell over on Vader. And Vader in the hotel, in the ballroom of the hotel, Vader gives chase, and this is totally unscripted. And Owen really, really rubbed Vader the wrong way. I mean, Owen was really running for his life, because I dare say that had Vader gotten a hold of him, Vader would have hurt him, because it was like he didn't know when to stop ribbing. He took it a little bit too far. I think he later begged Vader's apology and begged his pardon, but that was just the kind of guy he was. But other than that, that was just harmless, just antics. Owen was just a good guy. He took him for what he was, and but he was all right with me. I never had any problems. He would always show me things, teach me things. Sometimes I didn't even solicit the help, but he realized that I was new to the business, and he just wanted to he just wanted to help me out whichever way he could. So I didn't have any issue with that whatsoever. He was just a great person all around.
Now, if there's one thing that Owen wants fans to remember him for, what would that be?
Owen was a leader in the locker room from the standpoint that he never tried to. He was very comfortable in his position with the company, if I can say that. You have some guys that are always concerned about their spot. I don't even know what spot means, but they're always concerned about their spot. But Owen was very, very comfortable in his skin. He knew that he knew that he was a good talent, and that whether it was there with the WWF at the time or whether it was with another company, he was he knew he was enough of a talent and enough of had enough of a persona and had a character that he could pretty much go anywhere and he could work. So from that standpoint, like I said, he never alienated anyone. He never backstabbed to my impression of anyone, and that was a pleasure to see, because that was at a time when Brett and Sean were going through it real bad. I saw a lot of that stuff firsthand, and but Owen was never that kind. He always rose above that kind of stuff, almost. But that was like his way of just getting past the moment. He would always have a joke or a rib or whatever, but he'd rise above the occasion. He was a good person, man. He really, really was.
Okay, now, Missionary, do you got anything you want to ask Clarence Mason?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Clarence, how's it going, sir?
Everything is good. My pleasure.
I was kind of curious. I mean, everybody knows what an inspiration Owen Hart was to the fans, but what kind of inspiration did Owen Hart leave on you?
Wow. Well, I just appreciated the fact that, well, me being new into the business, Owen saw that there were some areas that I needed some work on. And like I said, he would take the time and take me off to the side, and in some of his more serious moments, he would help me out, give me tips. And I was always very, very appreciative from the mentoring standpoint, of what he did. And it wasn't too awesome, but when it did happen, I was very, very thankful for it. He was, to me, a very, very wholesome person, very, very serious about his craft. He had a very, very good work ethic. When it came down to execution, he didn't settle for anything. It had to be excellent. It had to be complete, and he didn't want anything less than that. So he left me with the notion that in this business, anything less than perfection is no good, and if you ever fall short, you're constantly striving to be the very, very best that you can be. And I was very, very thankful for that.
Now, I had one other question. If Clarence Mason were to write a book about Owen Hart, what would the title be?
That's a good one. I would say probably Owen. That's interesting. What would I say? I would probably go somewhere along the line of, in terms of a theme, on the consummate performer. I think that pretty much, as far as people would know what he was all about. There was a very, very private side to him as well, but they wouldn't know anything about that. People just only saw the public side, that's which is from the boob tube on Monday nights. But I would say Owen the consummate performer, because he was that. He was indeed a great, great talent, a great performer, and he did his job, and he did it very, very well.
Thank you very much, Clarence. It's been a pleasure, sir.
It's all my pleasure. I do thank you all guys for remembering Owen. He deserves that and then some. His death was a loss, first and foremost to his family, and secondly to the wrestling fans all over the world. Somebody like that left way too soon. But we don't have any control of those matters. Life goes on. We do what we can. But it's good to remember a talent like him. It is absolutely good. I appreciate you all doing this.
Thank you very much.
Take care.